Hi, Dumpster Divas. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I am alone for a moment because we had technical difficulties. So we have a great chat today, great recap with Louis Peitzman. Follow him at Louis Peitzman on all social media platforms and make sure to check out his podcast, Chasing Amy Adams. Okay? My mic was not connected during the beginning of the recording and my backup recording didn't work. So you're going to get like 5 minutes of audio that you're going to be like, well, I don't like that. Well, just wait. The good audio comes in about 5 minutes in, okay? And mostly I'm speaking to that one listener who decided to write a negative review on Apple to say that I had a fan on the background. Then it ruined the whole episode for them. Okay, you should not listen to the first 5 minutes of this episode. That reminds me, though, please give me a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We've stopped rating me. And I don't know what I did because I continue to see that more of you guys are listening to this show. Blink, blink. So please rate me. I'm coming in hot today. We have a great episode with Louis. We talk about more BravoCon headlines because maybe they keep rolling on in. We talk about the church episode of Real Houses of Salt Lake City. We talk about horror movies. We talk about tons of stuff. And make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I did a ranking of all of the Salt Lake City seasons there. And let me know which franchise you would like me to rank next. I am going to stop talking and let you hear me talk again to Louis. Okay? Bye, y'all. Hi, Dumpster Divas. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. And today, for our SLC recap, I am joined by reality television connoisseur, pop culture writer and commentator, and chronically online human, Louis Peitzman is here. Make sure to follow Louis at Louis Peitzman on Instagram and subscribe to Chasing Amy Adams, his Amy Adams podcast, where you're kind of diving into every film that Amy has ever been in.
Yeah, literally everyone.
Yes. Louis, welcome to the Dumpster.
Thank you for having me. I'm always happy to be in any dumpster. Any dumpster,
the world is
whether
a dumpster,
real or podcast.
Yeah. Yes, real or podcast. Wait, what is your favorite Amy Adams film? Because my partner Brian's favorite movie of all time is Julie and Julia.
Oh, I love that. Favorite of all time. Well, I want to wait till I watch all of them because there's some I have to see still, and I'm rewatching all of them, obviously, that I have seen. But I feel like Arrival is kind of
I was
the
going to say
best.
Arrival. Yeah.
Maybe the obvious answer, but it's so good.
I know, I do feel that, the cult answer, and she's not even the star of this, but it's just one of my favorite movies ever, is Drop Dead Gorgeous, and I think people, forget that she's in that.
Her first movie. That's, how she was discovered. Kind of iconic for her first movie.
It's a fantastic movie. If you've never seen Drop Dead Gorgeous, I don't know what... you must not be gay. But we have so much to talk about today. So we're going to chat about Salt Lake City, but I do want to dive into kind of some Bravo headlines because fresh out of Salt Lake City, we did just get news that one Jen Shah is going to be released early from her jail sentence on December 10th. That is around the corner.
That's so soon. I thought it was going to be... I don't know what I was thinking, but I was actually shocked when I saw that it's that soon.
I suddenly feel unsafe.
Totally. No, I mean, I am worried about... I don't really have a lot of elderly relatives left, but I am, worried about that, and I'm also just mostly worried about her finding her way back onto television.
I know. I was thinking that too. I was like, should I reach out to my great aunts and uncles?
Just warn them, that there's this scammer has been released, and you just never know what's going to happen next.
I know. I don't know what the next steps are necessarily with her and TV. She's definitely going to try and be on TV again. The head of Bravo did an interview with, I believe it was Us Weekly or Variety.
Variety. It was Variety. Yeah.
With Variety, and she mentioned about who is welcome to come back, who is not, sort of in so many terms. And on the list of people that were absolutely welcome back, Nene and Kenya, she said the doors were open for both of them, which was exciting to hear. But she did mention that the door is essentially closed for Jen Shah, which that is a relief for me. But I worry that Jen is going to try and permeate some sort of reality television sphere. Where do you think that will be?
I think Hulu is, like, the obvious choice. I feel like she's going to... Because I think they would do it. I think that, like... I don't think Bravo will have her back, but I think that Hulu, which is very much trying to compete with Bravo at this point, would do something with her. Or, like, find a way to put her on their, you know, their Mormon Wives show. Like, I feel like they're just gonna... She's not Mormon, is she? But I feel like it, you know...
No.
They'll find a way.
Was Coach Shaw... No, he was not Mormon. Yeah, she was not Mormon and had no Mormon adjacency, I don't think. But I'm picturing Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and Jen.
Yeah, just like they'll find a way. I really, or like even like a special, or just like, you know, I on the one hand, like, she has to make money. Like, this was her career, and I'd rather she be on TV than scamming the elderly. But I just feel like we don't need it. I did not find her entertaining toward the end of her run. I think she had like maybe one decent season, and then it was kind of all downhill from there.
Yeah.
I don't think she'll ever own up to what she did. You know, I don't think she's gonna like give an interview where she admits wrongdoing and kind of like shows penance. I feel like she's gonna keep denying that she ever did anything wrong.
Wait, but speaking of that though, do you think that, like, are you consuming Secret Lives of Mormon Wives or any of the Hulu reality content?
I don't watch any of them. I'm a Bravo loyalist, and I can barely keep up with Bravo, so I feel like I've set that limit for myself where I'm like not going to dive in.
I know what you mean. I started to dive into the new season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and it's just we lack the Bravo sheen. There's a feel when you turn on a Bravo show. I can't even really describe it. And
yeah.
It just doesn't have it, and it's hard for me to like be fully invested without it.
Yeah, I totally get that. I also just feel like when I try to watch any reality that's not on Bravo, I just feel like the production quality is different, and like I think that other reality shows can be so overproduced, which I haven't watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I don't know if that is one of those, but like I had a hard time with Real Housewives Wife Swap because I felt like Wife Swap was so overproduced and was so, it just didn't feel like Bravo to me, which I feel like they allow a lot more nuance. It doesn't feel so like neatly packaged.
Yeah,
and a lot of other reality is like so controlled.
Yeah, well, the one thing Secret Lives has for it that I think that Bravo could take note on is they are fully diving into, like, they have dove past the fourth wall. Like, they are chatting about reality television contracts, like, on the show as a part of the reason. So this season 3 opens, and only 4 and kind of a half of the women are actually filming. It's a cast of like 10, but the other 5 hadn't signed their contracts yet, and they essentially they talk about it on camera. It's kind of crazy. It's a interesting move. I don't think that it would work on all the shows, but you know, in the Housewives book that came out in 2020, you know, a big part of that was always about like the conversations, the fights on these shows are often about the show, but we just can't really acknowledge that it's about the show. I think that's a lot of what happens on Salt Lake City with like their relationship drama with like Meredith and Seth and everything that went down on the plane. It's like she's mad that the show is now going to involve her husband's alleged infidelity more than she's mad at just Brittany bringing it up on a girls' trip, you know. So I do think that there's some. I wish we could dabble a little bit there with Bravo, but outside of that, they're not doing anything revolutionary like our girls on Bravo.
I think I feel mixed about the fourth wall breaking because sometimes it does work, and I also think like I like that Potomac always says the reunion instead of saying like when we were in New York, which I find to be really annoying.
So we can just say it at that point.
And like I think Salt Lake City could have this season said like Lisa's not filming right now because she hasn't signed her contract, instead of making up whatever excuse about she's with Blake Lively and Ben.
Yeah, like a work thing.
But I also feel like it's hard because so many of the shows now, like, you know, OC kind of fell apart because it's so much about bloggers, which they mean like people on Twitter fan accounts. Like, it is a lot about that stuff, which I feel like is not the kind of fourth wall breaking that I want. I just think we can be honest about like that we're filming a show.
I agree. I think you nailed that perfectly. I would co-sign that perspective for these shows. A couple other headlines that came up. Mia is stealing furniture in Potomac.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. I think like that also like it's the kind of scam where you're like, did you think you wouldn't get caught? Like it's not a good crime. If there are good crimes, like that's a really bad one.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a cool crime. Like it doesn't like give you any street cred. Like there's no sort of like cred in terms of like salacious reality TV headlines. It's like, oh no,
there's no like nothing chic about stealing from a furnished apartment.
No,
like, it's really not a good look.
It falls in line with like Kim Richards stealing from that grocery store.
Yeah. Well, also, but it's like it's sad too because it's like if you're stealing furniture from like a furnished apartment, like you're down bad. Like there's something is going very wrong in your life. It's not
a good place.
Yeah. No, I do pray for her.
Also in Potomac, we got more information on Wendy that she and Eddie, part of this whole scheme was they had like 20 credit cards open under aliases.
Allegedly. They're denying that, but yeah, it's not looking great. I feel like that. I really don't know what her move is going to be in terms of like filming of the reunion because it's hard when there's an active case going on. But like the evidence looks not good for them.
No, there's not a lot of angles that are gonna necessarily like I don't know what. It's a situation similar to Karen in the way where it's like, what are you gonna prove though? Like when you go to court, when you're contesting all these claims, but like, how are you gonna be able to get out of this? It's not something where it's like he said, she said. Like it's kind of like there's definitely some foul play here. I don't know to what extent.
Yeah, I think you just kind of try to make the case there's, reasonable doubt that like something else could explain why there were no signs of a break-in and why Eddie sent Wendy an email being like, could we add anything to hit our insurance payout maximum?
It's tough stuff.
I just don't understand how someone who's a lawyer would put that in writing. Like, I truly don't get it. But I think that also, like, crime speaks to that they were probably in pretty desperate need of money. It's like, what they allegedly stole is like, her salary on the show should cover most of that. It's not like she's out of work. Like Mia doesn't have a job. So like, I sort of get it. But like Wendy, it sounds like they were in real debt, that there's just like, there was a need and it made them do something stupid, if true, which I think it is.
I think it is too. It's a really troublesome kind of spiral where it's like you get... I felt weird about it when she, on her second season, immediately wanted to become this like housewife personality and like completely redid everything about her and kind of abandoned this persona from her first season. Like her first season, she was like, I am a mom who has 4 degrees, who is a political commentator. I am a professor at a school. Like she just had all these things going on. And not that becoming a reality star is better or worse than that. Like she wanted to become a TV personality and that happened for her. But the way she just kind of left that person behind, got her whole body done and became like a real housewife with a capital R and H. And it's like, it's those situations lead to trying to keep up with a certain type of, I don't know, personality and financial bracket that will get you into dark stuff. Just, I think everyone liked her as she was. I don't know why we had to go down this path. I think it bothers me.
That is like one of those times though where I wish we could have broken the fourth wall, because I feel like Giselle and Robin played it wrong by being kind of like, are you trying to like look different because your marriage is in trouble or because of these rumors out there, when what they really wanted to say is like, you got your second season glow up, and it's like you're a different person now because you're trying to perform as a real housewife. Like that was what they were actually accusing her of.
Right. Once again, like we can't say the thing that we want to say because of the show. So there was a couple other things, Southern Charm stuff I don't really care so much about Shep drunkenly yelling at people about Craig at a hotel lobby in Vegas. Lewis, would you ever go to BravoCon?
Yeah, no, I went I went to the New York ones.
Okay.
And had a good time. I found it like very overwhelming. I don't like crowds or people in general usually. So it's like maybe not the right vibe for me. Vegas is like my nightmare city. I really like would have
same.
to like
Same.
if I were still in LA and I were a little bit closer and someone wanted to pay me to go, I would do it. But it's really not something that I would like. I would not pay money to go. Is basically what it comes down to.
I agree. I don't think I would pay money to go, but because I don't know, just the people, the energy, it overwhelms me a bit, and I also controversially don't care to really engage with like Real Housewives. Like
I totally get that.
I would love to just go sit in a corner with you and gossip about everything that's going on. Like that sounds fun to me, but like I don't want to go sit. Also, like I feel candidly after watching a lot of the panels, a lot of them are so catered to like a PR response now, where I feel like maybe the first BravoCon in New York and the second, some more drama was kind of unfolding, but it just, I don't know, there's something about like some of these panels, they're just like, they can't talk about everything because their shows aren't on yet, or they're just, and these moderators are having to really do the legwork to try and get some good stuff out of them. But I don't know.
But it's also, I think like it used to be messier, and now they also hire moderators who I think a lot of them are great. Like I love a lot of the moderators they have, but they are more like personalities because they're kind of driving this in a way that like the first year they could kind of have people just asking on stage, moderators sort of asking these more unrehearsed questions and getting more honest responses, which they don't allow now. For me, the like hard part about BravoCon that makes me really cringe is like the fact that people who go don't only want to have like an interaction with a housewife, they want to like be in the drama, and so you get these like shady questions that I find very hard to watch because I'm always just like, I don't think it's normal to talk to someone like that. I don't think you should like have that much hate in your heart for someone on TV that you're willing to like get in front of a mic and try to call them out and give yourself a moment with them. Like I think that is not, I really have a hard time with that. I don't like watching it. I also like don't want to see people who are drunk at 10 a.m. asking Andy Cohen about his dick. Like I just find that to be
Did that happen?
Too much. Yes.
No.
There was a drunk woman in a panel, I believe it was 10:30 a.m. She asked Andy how big his dick was, and he said, "I'm happy with it." And then I believe she said, "I'd like to touch it." So you know, that is something that I'd rather not witness firsthand. Even reading about it made me uncomfortable. So I'm glad I wasn't there.
That's incredibly upsetting.
Yeah, I also am like, what do you hope to accomplish from, I guess she was very drunk, it seems, but like, what is the best case scenario for you asking that question? That he like whips it out for you? Like, I just don't know where you're hoping this goes.
I know, but a lot of people don't have end goals with their actions and questions these days. Like,
so true.
They just want to have a moment. Everyone's looking for a moment, but then don't. I mean, I have the same issue with people who get online and just like say some of the most insane, salacious, mean things, or engage with housewives, then post screenshots about them after they engage with them. It's like, what is your next step here? I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the only goal is attention, and I just feel like it is bad online, but at least online, like, I hate it, but I understand how when you're hiding behind a computer, you can kind of you can say anything and you don't really think about the consequences, or like the fact that you're talking to a real person. There's something so dark to me, though, when you do see that person in front of you and you're saying to their face, like, I think you're a thirsty bitch, like, how do you respond? Like, I just think that's weirdo behavior.
No, I totally agree. Well, a bunch of weirdos that I absolutely love are the Housewives of Salt Lake City, and I think it's time to dive into it. So today we are chatting about Season 6, Episode 10, The Higher the Hair, The Closer to God. Lewis, how have you been enjoying this season of Salt Lake City?
I'm loving it. This is actually like maybe one of my least favorite episodes of the season so far, and it was still great. I just feel like it's been at such a high level. My only problem with this season is that it's so good that it's making other shows look worse. Where like
look terrible.
I mean, like, OC had a bad season, but I think OC's bad season wouldn't feel so bad if we weren't also watching SLC. And I think the same.
Yeah.
But Potomac, I think, is good, but it's like it just doesn't compare to what Salt Lake City is doing.
I know, and specifically with OC, we are in Salt Lake City. We're for the most part, it's just these women are engaging with each other and engaging with their interpersonal relationships. OC has lost the plot about what that show's about. This season, they are just talking about dinners they had off camera, talking about meetings with bloggers, and it's like, no, we don't feel like we're in on the conversation because we're not seeing any of these conversations. So that is a big separator there too. Because Salt Lake City, I would say most of this is just them arguing about the shit that they do to each other while on camera. There's not that much off-camera stuff except the obvious, which is the airplane moment.
The airplane moment that I feel like we're never going to get the real answer to. Although, I don't know if you saw, but Kate Arthur, who did the interview with the head of programming she did the interview with Heather, where Heather kind of implied that there might be audio, but it was also kind of like how Heather would drop hints about the black eye for years, where I'm like, I don't know if she actually is referring to anything or just trying to kind of like subtly suggest something. But maybe there is audio. I
think there's something, and I think it will get dropped at the reunion. Though I saw a couple things online. People were talking about how Bravo had people sign NDAs when they got off the plane, so they could I'm like, that's not true.
I find that very hard to believe. I think like for me, it's pretty simple, and it's like Mary's not going to lie about this. Like Mary has no reason to lie about this. Where like you could argue that the rest of them are performers and they're willing to kind of craft a story, and they maybe like. Maybe they all got together and were like, we're going to take Meredith down with this. Meredith and Lisa, we're going to isolate them with this. But I don't believe that Mary would sit down with Meredith and be that horrified by whatever happened if it didn't actually happen.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that's one of our great things about Mary is that she doesn't have any sort of like tact with the show. It's like she's just her all the time, and her responses are her. So she's like, she just isn't going to play into anyone's games. And Meredith, it's the worst thing that could happen to Meredith to have Mary clocking exactly what went down on that plane.
It's just like, it's so weird to me because it's like, would it have been so hard to be like, I was overly upset and I was probably angrier than I should have been, and I, regret how I behaved? Like, I think we would move on. It's the fact that she and Lisa are trying to like gaslight everyone else that's making it a bigger problem.
Yeah, but do you think that if it's interesting, do you think that she wants to she's trying to get ahead of it because she's worried that someone does have footage of it, and so she's trying to maybe talk about her side of it first? Or I don't know, I could see her just trying to lie her way through it to see if she can get off clean here, but I don't think it's going to happen. I do think someone recorded something. There's no way Heather, who is like, love her or hate her, she's always trying to wear a producer hat. There's no world in which that she didn't open up her phone at some point and just like press record and like put the phone in the backseat pocket. I don't know. It's just hard for me to believe that there's nothing.
I just think, and maybe it would even like help exonerate Meredith a little bit, because I do think Brittany is probably playing it up.
Definitely. Oh, definitely.
Like, Meredith, when she was like, there were no air marshals, like she said it a couple times, but she's not wrong that if she were actually abusively yelling at someone and shaking their seat for, 15 hours, like there probably would have been more of a response. So I think the truth is somewhere in between their versions of events.
Yeah. I mean, Brittany's 2 feet are not planted on this planet, so.
No, I really like, it was a bit much to give her a little surprise party because Meredith yelled at her. But I appreciate that Mary was there, but didn't actually record a message for her in the teddy bear.
I know. So Whitney throws a surprise potluck which, you know what? There's something I grew up in Dallas. There's something so Southern to me and about potlucks. I grew up in the church in Dallas. So potlucks were, every week there was a potluck somewhere. So I find something so comforting about a potluck. On Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, they had a potluck on like the first episode where there was funeral potatoes, and everyone was like asking what a funeral potato is. I'm like, you either know or you don't. It's just it's like Southern au gratin potatoes. Oh my God, it sounds so good. But yeah, Whitney hosts a potluck, and Bronwyn, it's interesting. I like Bronwyn, but everything she does with Brittany at this point, because she keeps shading her so severely, feels like I would be scared to get too close to her. She tries to make this big gesture of this like knockoff Build-A-Bear setup in the in the potluck, and I'm like somehow I'm nervous that she's gonna. If I was Brittany, I'd be like, somehow I feel like I'm about to be shaded in some way. Like everything just feels like slightly shady from her.
I don't think that Bronwyn will ever take Brittany seriously, which I think is actually the right way to approach Brittany. Like, sure. I don't think that you know, when I think it was Whitney who recorded one that was like, "You are so brave," and I was like, "How? I don't know how she's like brave. Like, we don't need to like oversell it, you know? Like, it can just be like, you're a really sweet person who didn't deserve to get yelled at like this." But I just feel like it's Bronwyn, I think, has the right attitude about it, but I also think that Bronwyn sometimes gets ahead of herself. Like when she's on, you know, they're sharing a room together, and she's like kind of also had been egging her on earlier to talk shit about the other women, and then she just like at dinner reveals everything that Brittany said. It's kind of like, you probably didn't need to do all that. You probably could have had like an allyship with her for like another episode or so before you decided to throw her under the bus. So it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. I would feel weird. Well, Brittany, though, she has no self-awareness that these women don't really like her, and she just is like, this is so sweet of you guys. It's like, these ladies would not be doing this for you if you weren't filming this television show with you.
No, and I think like if you're watching this like as a viewer, like you can see that Heather is so strategic. Like Heather has realized that like she goes where the wind is blowing. She sees that Lisa is having a really bad season, so she decides that it's time to become enemies again, and she's you know, using Brittany in that way to be like, I can make this about supporting Brittany and not about taking down Lisa, which is obviously her goal.
Yeah, I know. She's not that slick about it. Like, it's pretty easy to catch on to her maneuvering, housewifery, you know?
Yeah.
I did love this. I loved that we get this flashback in this potluck scene of Mary fighting with Brittany on the boat, saying that she was like the least Christian woman that she's ever met to Brittany. Mary said that to Brittany, which I'm like, oh my God, like in any other franchise, like that didn't make the cut. Like that wasn't even in the episode we were watching. There was so many things going on that boat that we didn't even get a fight between the two of them until episodes later. They had to like include this to be like, okay, so this actually happened as well. If someone said that on Orange County, it would be a whole episode's worth of conversations about who's the better Christian.
Or Beverly Hills, because there's like never anything happening there. They have to kind of... I think that it's yeah, I mean, this is a show where like there's so much going on at all times that you can miss things, that they can like leave stuff out. And also the women are so good at like filming together despite all that you can kind of like, they move past things easily. They keep doing their jobs. So like, I mean, like Mary and Meredith had that whole fight on the beach where, you know, Mary was basically like, I don't really like you at all. And then the next episode they're like having this serious sit down, but about, you know, the Brittany thing where they're kind of acting like they're good friends. I just thought it was, you know, we move on very quickly from these fights.
I know. I appreciate it, honestly. Keeps the ball rolling.
We need it, yeah.
Okay, we get this scene with Bronwyn and Todd in one of the... No, someone online pointed this out, like that we're not giving enough energy to the room they were sitting in during this.
Well, because how can your eye focus anywhere with that interior design and her dress and the Dr. Pepper? Like, there's just too much going on to take it in.
Crazy, because the room, go back and watch it. It's like, it's a room of 60 chaise lounges. Mm-hmm. They're all like color blocked in different colors. Like, is that their game room? Like, where is that in their home?
I think their house just looks like that. I mean, I really like Bronwyn's style, even if it's like not for me personally. I really do like that she makes these bold choices, and like, well, I think it's easy to be like, oh, she's doing that for the show. I believe her home kind of reflects the fact that this is actually who she is, that she enjoys this kind of style.
Totally. I think she wears like crazy pattern shift dresses just to go to the grocery store. Like I think that really is who she is. I thought her BravoCon looks were also beautiful, and I think she was one of the winners of BravoCon, to be honest. She made
For
some
sure.
amazing statement to the camera, straight to camera, about how a lot of the housewives that the fans love do not speak out about real issues, especially with the trans community, and it shouldn't be so hard to get people to speak on that, and it seemingly is, and it's so amazing that she can.
I think that the problem is a lot of them have views that are not what we want to hear, and I think like even for housewives who are like less on the Gretchen side of the spectrum, I feel like they might be uncomfortable, speaking out loudly for trans rights. I was trying to think of like anyone else who's done it. I mean, she got the entire panel to kind of, what did they say? Protect the dolls. They were like chanting. They were. It was a moment, but I think she's like one of the most outspoken Bravo Lebs about those issues. I was trying to think of like anyone else like I could remember who has like spoken out about that, and I was like, maybe West from Summer House.
Like crazy to say, but maybe West.
Yeah, like he's like a really strong ally. It's not something that they're talking about.
I know, and it's not. It's an interesting line, because it's like these shows obviously aren't about that, but at the same time, like the fandom has such a heavy LGBTQIA plus following. It would be insane to just disregard that as a part of who consumes these shows. And that's why it's so crazy to me that I feel like the Gretchen of it all is getting pushed under the rug. Like it's just
insane.
It's crazy.
It's insane because like we all knew she was liking and engaging with this shit before she came back.
Right.
And they're
yeah.
acting like this is all like a Tamra conspiracy.
I think, I do think there is a whole trough of people in this country that are not living on like Instagram, Threads, Twitter, all this place. Like they didn't know that stuff. I'm sure that the half of the viewership didn't. But those that did know it, if you're listening and you're one of the ones that didn't, like those that did know it have known it for, I would say, at least 2 years. Like, yeah. I think before she even went on to Girls Trip, like to go film that. Like, I just think it's something we've all known about her. What's funny too about her though, and I clocked this with a lot of the housewives, and this is kind of to Bronwyn's point, is that a lot of the women that in like the late aughts, like 2009, 10, and then that era of housewives, a lot of them would have their gay friends around, like Ramona and Jill and Vicky, and they would like throw a gay function, be like, I love the gays, I love the gays. They are all the ones that are the most MAGA now. It's like they were just using gay people as using their gay friends as just like an excuse to be like, look, I'm not that conservative. And it's just like, yuck. Like all of y'all, they're all like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gotten even worse because now it's like there are a lot of like Republicans who are like, they're cool with gay guys, they're cool with like gay people, but I think trans people in particular are still, are getting thrown under the bus by all of these people, and it's hard for people, a lot of the OC cast who is conservative, to figure out kind of like how to respond to these things, because I think they agree with a lot of what Gretchen is engaging with, but like they also don't want to alienate. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I think I would say of the current cast, like most of them voted for Trump. I don't think that Heather did. Maybe Gina didn't, and I think that Tamara probably did not vote. But
Shannon definitely didn't vote.
Shannon might have voted for Trump.
You think? I could see her just not knowing how to, like, I could see her just being like, oh, where's the polling place?
Yeah, she might have planned to vote for Trump and then like couldn't figure out how to start her car, and then she never, like sure, there's like plenty of scenarios where she did not vote, but I think Shannon is more conservative than she wants people to know. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. So yeah, Bronwyn and Todd though have this conversation. Essentially, once again, Bronwyn's trying to be honest about everything in her life on camera. Todd, I don't even know how she convinced him to sit down in that chair and film this conversation, because he just once again is a brick wall. And I think she's having a lot of grace towards him. Like, I'm happy to like essentially find a solution Like she's giving him an out for his behavior. She's like, I'm down to open this up so you don't have to get any bad headlines about messaging women on an airplane. And he's like just not even taking that bait either.
Well, it is kind of funny because she is sort of pushing him toward an open relationship while making it seem like it's all for him. Like, I think she wants an open relationship
1000%.
which, like, God bless. Yeah, I don't know. I felt weird about that scene because, you know, Team Bronwyn in this whole thing. Like,
yeah.
I think Todd's misery at being there is hard to watch. But I also understand she seems like shocked that he's not excited when she says that she like talked to Whitney about their sex life, you know, on camera. Like, I think any person would have a reaction to that, even if they're not Todd.
Agreed.
Like, that's not something that any of us want to have talked about that way on camera. So I did sympathize with him a little bit in that moment, but he was like really slumped down with like worse posture than I have, just kind of like melding into the seat. It's very weird. He really hates this shit, or if not, like, is doing a bad job of making it seem like he just doesn't. He seems like really unhappy all the time.
I don't see a world in which she can continue doing the show and still maintain a relationship with him because he just hates the show so much. Like, it worries me for if she really wants this relationship to work, I worry that it's a situation where like she shouldn't be on the show anymore. But like, I think she is a great reality star and she should be on the show. But like, it's a toughie because I don't know that Bravo would be down. There's very few cases where they're like, yeah, it's fine. You don't have to film with the husband. Like Mary gets away with it, right? Mary doesn't have to film with him anymore. Like, I don't know if that's something that they would let Bronwyn do and still have her be a snowflake holder, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, it definitely does happen, I think, more now. I don't think it's a good precedent. I don't like that we have housewives who refuse to show their spouses on the show. I think that's like a bad look, and it doesn't really help with them. You know, Jenna Lyons obviously was like never giving anything of herself, and I think not filming with her partner was part of that. But I don't know. like I wonder about Todd because he did come to the reunion and he did kind of like he like really did kind of like put on a performance of, you know, contrition and like kind of trying to explain his demeanor and all of that. Like, if he really hated it so much, would he have showed up to the reunion? Like, is there a part of this
That's
he does?
true.
Like, I actually, it's so hard to tell because right now he just seems like a really unhappy person. I also feel like, you know, again, with not breaking the fourth wall, he's like always like, you know, why are you hanging out with these women who are awful to you or who like you can't trust? And it's like, well, she's getting a paycheck. She's hanging out with them because that's her job.
Yeah, I know.
And he knows that, but he keeps asking like he doesn't.
I think the reason he went to the reunion is just to make sure that he had a say on the way he was portrayed on the show, probably. Like, I think it was a little bit of that, because also in the reunion, he also talked about how he did not watch the show, and so he didn't see Bronwyn talk negatively about him on that trip and everything. He just heard it from Bronwyn. Yeah. And so, I don't know, like, maybe... we'll see. I wonder I wonder what will happen this reunion. I assume they'll be filming it pretty soon.
And I think Andy solicited questions, so it's got to be coming up.
Yeah, it's definitely on the way. So the big moment of this... Oh, sorry. Before we get to the church, one other thing that happened was we got this scene with Lisa and John in a sit-down. Another marriage that is in an odd spot. This is another situation to me where it feels like they're trying not to acknowledge some show things with their relationship. What did you think of this, like, Lisa and John sit down, and the fact that his hairline is now on the back of his head?
I found that tough to watch. It made me sad. I think, like, it's hard because I'm sure it's really hard to be married to Lisa Barlow. Like, I can understand what John was saying in that scene, but it also felt like this is their dynamic and this is how it's been forever. And he's suddenly like, I don't like this. He's suddenly like, I actually don't particularly enjoy being sort of like subservient to you and having to defer to you on all things. It kind of reminded me of Portia and Shamia where it's like, I believe that they have this really unequal relationship, but then suddenly Shamia was like, I actually don't like this, and it happened on camera, and it felt like a similar vibe of like John suddenly saying, I don't like that you silenced me, but like Lisa obviously felt very ambushed by that, and him saying like we don't have anything in common to talk about, I thought was pretty sad and dark.
Sad and dark, but I also could see it being like a half truth where he's just mad and so he's trying to hurt her on camera. I think maybe because I think he kind of feels that she just slights him so much because she's like a TV star now, and so I think he's trying to put one to her and maybe saying things he might not necessarily mean. I don't know. I think he's being kind of mean to her, but
he was being a little mean. I mean, but yeah, a lot of it felt deserved at the same time.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like I cannot imagine being in a relationship with Lisa Barlow, but it has to be a difficult situation. A wall, a lot of talking, feeling like you're talking to a wall, I would think.
Yeah, we did not get a lot of good examples of like healthy relationships in this episode because we also had Brittany and Jared's little date.
Oh God, we didn't even say that. That was in my notes. Yeah, Brittany and Jared go on a little stroll and then get stranded in the woods.
That to me was the best example of like why Brittany can never be full time. Why I was like, I don't like watching this. It doesn't even feel real. When she stormed off, it felt so performative. The whole thing just feels like I don't actually want to try to keep up with this relationship that makes no sense. Like, they are both just like, whatever's going on between them is none of my business. I'm tired of it.
No, I agree. She must always stay in this friend of place. And the Salt Lake City panel on BravoCon, shout out to Casey and Danielle. They did a great job with those ladies, and I love the Bitch Sesh community so much. But Brittany was truly like making TikToks during the panel. They kept being,
of course.
Like, they kept being like, "Hey, Brittany, can you come back here for a second? We're still doing something." And then she has no understanding of what makes her watchable in these shows, which I like for now. But she can't get. We can't give her a full-time snowflake because I think we'll start to lose some of the delusion, and then she'll start to stage scenes like this trapped in the woods scene with Jared Osman.
Yeah, I also just like don't want Jared Osman on my TV. Like, I just don't want to see him. I think that it's that's really rough, and then especially because we got a scene of her and her daughter, with her daughter being like, "Please pay attention to me over Jared. Please, like, be a mom to me." So it makes it even worse when we're when we're at her 30-day break from Jared and they're on a date. Like, it's
so
just
upsetting.
It's depressing.
Allegedly at BravoCon, he was not supposed to be there.
Yeah,
she came with her daughter, and then he saw, I think, just like on night one, how rabid it was with like Bravo fans and everything, and he was like, "Oh, I want my 15 minutes of fame," and he went he says he went for her, but like, I really believe he just wanted to go and have people like ooh and ah over him.
Yeah, I mean, BravoCon is a weird space for like, you can be, the D-ist of D-list and like still get people like chanting your name. So
and
I
do
understand.
Something terrible. I mean, Karen Huger has 4 DUIs and got a standing ovation when she walked out on that stage.
Listen, she did her time, and we love Karen. Jared Osman. It must be hard to be an Osman who's not Donnie or Marie. Like, that can't be easy.
I know. They say that the family is like this legacy family, but I'm like, who else is there?
Well, I'm sure if you're like in the Utah Mormon community, you know other Osmans, but he is not. He is just not interesting or hot enough for Brittany to kind of destroy her life repeatedly over him. And
wait, so I just Googled other famous Osmonds. We have Jimmy Osmond, who known for a hit in Japan and the UK at a young age. Okay, so he had some international hits. And then the Osmond brothers were Alan, Wayne, Merrill, and Jay, and they were like a barbershop quartet in like the 50s, I guess.
Didn't one of them die recently? There was some Osmond who died recently.
Maybe it was Jimmy.
There are a lot of Osmonds. I mean, it's only natural that one of them would have died recently. But
Jimmy is still with us. Yeah, it's still really just Donnie and Marie. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get this. Oh wait, this is random, but I was thinking about this when we were talking about the horror that was the scene of Brittany and Jared. I love to follow your Substack. I mean, not Substack. Your Letterbox, because you're a horror fan, like a horror super fan, like I am, and consume so much horror content. Are there any horror movies that you watched this year that you're like, please, you got to go check this out? Anything like indie? And he watches everything. Like, I'll go and look up a random movie, and I'm like, oh, Lewis wrote a review for this one.
So I do think that it's kind of been a bad year for horror.
I agree. There was no releases in October, I feel like.
Yeah, I do my best horror list every year for I'm doing it for Vulture this year. And I just feel like there wasn't a lot to choose from. It was weird because like we had like Weapons and Sinners, which are like two of the biggest movies of the year and like hugely successful and hugely critically acclaimed and obviously great. But like I was disappointed by a lot of other movies. I really liked the last VHS movie, VHS Halloween.
Okay, we watched that.
Yeah, that's like an anthology series. I really liked that one. Yeah, it's going to be tougher to do my list this year because I feel like there wasn't a lot that I loved.
Yeah, and I loved Sinners, but Sinners to me almost was like an action horror. Like, it wasn't full horror. It was horror, but like it's like a historical fiction action movie. Like, it feels like it if it was stylized a little bit differently, like it could have easily been a like Tarantino-esque like action historical action thriller. I don't know. It doesn't. But it was fantastic. One of my favorite movies of the year. But it didn't have like full tilt horror to me. So I agree. And Weapons also is like a comedy almost in a way, and
sort of his movies are always like darkly funny, and it has like it's like obviously it's like an epic and multiple perspectives, but definitely a horror movie, and Aunt Gladys obviously an icon. Icon, yeah.
Okay, well, back to Salt Lake City. So we end on the horror of all horrors, and that is going into the church.
Yeah.
So I have said on this podcast that I have some questions about the church, Mary's church. I mean, not in the same. There's this cult documentary coming out on TLC. I don't think that's going to get to the bottom of anything new necessarily.
Did you see Mary on the red carpet? I think she was talking to Bryce Sander, where she was like, "If it were a cult, there'd be more members."
No,
which I thought was funny.
I didn't see that.
I was like, "Yeah," she was like, "There'd be more members."
I agree, and I think a lot of churches do shady shit. So, and also it's kind of insane to me that the Mormon church is like not on the forefront of cults in this conversation around cults in Salt Lake City, but
well, yeah. Well, I mean, Heather has her surviving Mormonism, whatever that, and she calls it a cult in that. So, I mean, I think that's part of the conversation, but
it is.
Yeah, Mary's church makes me uncomfortable. Also, the Robert Jr. stuff makes me super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think Mary works so well as a supporting player, but when it's like the storyline's about her, I struggle sometimes.
I hear that. I think the stuff with her son is really beautiful when it's like last season. I thought that scene was so honest and wonderful. We're entering into a darker path right now with him this season. Like we were going on the up because it felt like we were going to resolution, and a journey with addiction resolution is really hard to find. So like it's gonna be a lot of ups and downs. So this season it's been a harder story to tell, I think.
And in real time, knowing that he's still
got arrested.
Yeah. I think it's obviously part of her story. It just feels like it's too raw. Like, I think that someone who's like an addict in active recovery to be filming scenes on this show is tough. Her telling him in this episode, like, are your friends who are relapsing like praying enough, is just, and like how that just like bounced off him, because that's just not gonna be what fixes it. It's tough.
That's not gonna be that's not the path forward. And he doesn't end up coming to the church service because he got high that morning, and he was like too high on weed to be there. So That's just dark. It feels really sad. But my issue with the church, my question, okay. It's a very silly logistical question, but it just brings up more questions about like where's the money, because like I find it so insane that the church closed for 2 years for renovations. Like churches don't like close for reno. It's just that's not like I mean maybe some do. I grew up in the church, and the church went from that we grew up in went from a very small church to like a much larger one, and there were times where we would go to service and like a classroom in the back while they were like renovating the sanctuary, because like the purpose of the church, one, it has to keep making money, so people need to be coming, people need to be giving money, and two, like they like want to continue to grow their congregation. It feels just insane to me that they shut down the sanctuary for 2 years to just put in new pews. I just feel like we're not getting the whole rundown of why we shut down.
Yeah, like I was thinking about that, and I was like, wouldn't Mary have like been renting out a space for her congregation like in this 2-year period? Where were they going when the church was shut down? And it also shut down at a time when there were a lot of questions about the church and about Mary, and it felt very like that was a storyline on the show that kind of never went anywhere because the church shut down before we could really make it a storyline or really follow through on it, and it felt convenient timing wise.
Yep.
So it's weird that now it's back, and it's like we're getting a lot there, and we have this huge scene at the end. It's weird. It feels like we are glossing over some details.
Yeah, I did love that Angie pulls up to the church and knows every single person. It was so sweet to me. I just love I love their friendship is so beautiful, and it's just that is so special. That interaction to me was so special because it's like proof that they have maintained and continued to nurture a relationship outside of the show that they're filming.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, if Meredith went to Lisa's Mormon church with all of her friends from the church, everyone would be like, Meredith, it's so nice to meet you.
Totally. I think that Angie is the reason why Mary is a much better housewife now, because she was treating these women like her coworkers. She had no actual interest in being their friend, and so she was like clocking in and not really. She just was basically commenting on what was happening, but she wasn't engaged. And I feel like Angie gave her a real relationship, and now she actually does care, and it makes a big difference.
I know, it's really sweet. It was just I just thought that was really special. And you know, I have my opinions on organized religion and everything, but I did think that her sermon, or whatever we want to call it, was it was kind of beautiful seeing her just speak to the housewives and connect with them. I don't know, it kind of touched me. I mean, I haven't been touched by the word of God since maybe ever, but I thought it was just beautiful to hear her give affirmations to all these women, especially the demonic ones.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was something nice about it. I did think it went on too long. Just
I agree.
To be like a hater. I mean, I struggle with organized religion myself, but there were nice moments. I mean, her talking about her mom, that whole thing is really sad. How they were estranged because her mom was supposed to inherit the church, right? And then she was like passed over for Mary, who was pawned off on her grandmother's husband. Like, the whole thing is like pretty dark.
The reason she doesn't have a relationship with her mom anymore is because of her grandmother's passing, which I did think that was weird to bring that up in the pulpit.
that her mom had died recently and that they were estranged.
And no one invited her to the funeral.
Well, she isn't playing what she's saying. I fully believe that when she was like, I don't go up there with a plan, I just start talking. I was like, that was totally clear. Tracks.
That was clear. But yeah, that kind of wraps up the episode. It wasn't filler. It was just more of a like serious, somber kind of like episode about the interpersonal relationships. I don't know. We have another trip coming up. They go to Greece. Yeah. I believe that'll be in a couple weeks. Because I was looking at episode titles, but I don't know what's directly ahead of us. But the ladies continue to absolutely deliver. They're all just showing up ready to work, and you have to tip your hat to that.
Yeah, I think that it's just like the baseline level of quality on this show is so high that even an episode where not that much is happening is like a great episode of television. I think it's just hard because they seem to peak so early with the yacht with the below deck crossover. Like that was just like such an amazing collection of episodes that it's hard to kind of follow that. But I do believe they will peak again. Like I feel like they will.
I think they'll be fine.
I think Greece will be incredible.
Yeah, we seemingly have like a founding fathers dinner coming up. We have a trip to Greece. We have a lot of nonsense.
And we'll get the below deck down under episodes in February.
I know.
So
I
thank
can't
God
wait
for
for
that.
Also, guys, on the Dumpster Dive YouTube channel, I am doing a ranking series where I'm ranking Housewives franchise seasons, and I just posted a Salt Lake City ranking. What would you put on your rankings of like? So we've had 6 seasons. What would be like probably top 2 tier for you as like the best seasons of this franchise?
Of Salt Lake City. God, I feel like I'm trying to remember. I feel like last season was definitely top 2 for me, but I'm trying to remember everything that happened that season.
Yeah, so I put my ranking as last season and this season are currently operating on like our highest level.
I think that's right. I think that's totally right.
Some people are dragging me by saying that season 4 is like I put season 4 as the level under this.
Yeah.
Only because like there was a lot of great moments, but we were still finalizing this group without Jen, and obviously the screenshots proof timeline, that whole speech is great, but I still think I think last season was still far more enjoyable than season 4 to me.
I totally agree with you. I think people overrate 4 because of the finale, which was obviously incredible. I think Monica was good in group scenes, but her fighting with Lisa was really repetitive and really sort of childish name calling stuff. And then everything with her mom was dreadful to watch. Like that stuff was bad. And I think that we forget about that. But like this really planned scene where she's like at home and her mom allegedly just drops by and they have to hide from her. Like that whole thing was just like I did not enjoy that. And we know that Monica was a fan, which can work and sometimes and not other times. But like, I don't think she was a great housewife. I think that she helped bring us to a great moment, but I don't think she was a great housewife.
Yeah, I agree. And then I also got dragged because I put 2 lower than everyone wanted it to be. To me, y'all, 2 has the big moment of the arrest. I still think it doesn't carry that much else there outside of that.
I also agree with you there. I think that it's overrated. I love the episode. Obviously, the episode where she gets arrested and they all find out is amazing.
Yeah.
But the fallout from it, I did not think lived up to that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, go check that out. I'm also going to rate, I think, some other series as well. I think I might do an America's Next Top Model cycle ranking because I have all those. I have all those instilled in my brain. I could tell you them all off. I could probably just do it right now. Well, Louis, thank you so much for being here. This was so fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, tell everyone where they can follow you, listen to your podcasts, read your content, all that.
Yeah, follow me at Louis Peitzman on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, and then my podcast is Chasing Amy Adams, and that's at Chasing Amy Adams everywhere and on all the podcatchers.
Love it. Well, Louis, we will have to have you back again for some more Housewives thoughts. You are wonderful. And guys, make sure to follow me at the Tom Hamlet and subscribe to all the places Dumpster Dive is heard, and all the podcasts that you subscribe to. Please rate them all 5 stars. Leave a beautiful review. It helps us all. And Louis, say bye to the listeners. Bye, guys.
Bye.